Hello, hockey fans. We're here for a new episode of Five for Talking. Third episode of the playoffs. I'm here with Caps, captain of the show, the muscles and the sauce, the boss. And the shirt's coming out soon. It's
Oh,
just it's just gonna be a white shirt with a sauce stain on it. But yeah, so this is the third episode of the playoffs, the second episode of the second round. We're just gonna kind of go through this and we'll talk about some news and stuff. I mean, we might as well get kind of big news out of the way before we even touch on the playoffs. Mark Giordano re-signed with the Leafs, 2 years, 1.6 million, 800 per. Great contract, in my opinion.
yeah. Apparently, he took less. Like they offered him more, but he took less.
Well, he
Apparently,
wants to win, right?
he
And
wants
he
to
sees
win.
his opportunity if he takes less. It's smart.
Yeah, I mean, they got about 8 players that they got to sign, and with a cap space of 10 mil.
Yeah. Well,
Good luck.
we won't go too deep into Leafs talk, but I did go over it today. So the big names are obviously Campo,
Yep.
Sandin Liljegren,
Yep.
Mikheyev,
Yep.
Spezza, and Blackwell.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm
And
already.
and Bargo's favorite player, Engvall.
Oh yeah, Engvall. Well, they're gonna. Okay, so in for my money, Engvall, Spezza, and Blackwell are all gonna take low contracts to stay with the team.
Well,
Uh,
Spezza is because he understands that, like
yeah.
Giordano, like he'll do whatever he needs to do to sign for less, so that
But if
the
you're an Engvall player or a Blackwell player, they're pretty decent. Don't get me wrong, but do you take the bigger contract to play on a team that probably has less of a shot to make it because they have the availability to pay for someone like you? I don't
depends on
know.
the person.
Yeah,
Campos, it depends on the
yeah.
person.
No,
Like
no, that's fair.
if you're like 28, 29, and this is your only chance of actually making some big money, because you know for a fact that in 3, 4 years they're not going to pay you as much. I
Well,
mean, I
you
don't
take a
blame the
one
person.
year. I would take
Yeah,
a 1 year if I'm them. And then if you don't do it again, then they're obviously it's not right. Let's get out of here. But
yeah, yeah.
for sure, Sandin and Lilgren, I think, in my opinion, are both going to get bridge contracts. They're both going to get like 2 years, 2 million a season, both of them. And I'm looking at Campbell getting like between 5 and 5.5 for either 4 or 5 seasons, is what I think they're going to give him.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to sign anybody for five or five.
Well,
They're not going to have the space. Like,
if they let Mikheyev go, if
yeah,
they get rid of Mrazek, and with now them saving the money on Giordano, they have the money. But it's just how can they spend it properly?
yeah. If they can trade Hall and Mrazek, they'll be able to free up another
Yeah,
5.5.
and I think you just let
Um,
Mikheyev walk. I'm just gonna be honest. Like
yeah,
he's good, but you need the other people more than him.
I McKay's speed is so useful for this team. It's a hard one, man. It's a hard one.
Well, he doesn't want to be here really realistically, anyways, and he's
His
gonna get
mind might
more
have
money.
changed. His mind might have changed after
He's
this
not.
past
I don't
season.
think he's gonna take less money than what he was
Yeah,
getting paid.
yeah, yeah. You're
But
right.
he
No,
proved it. He had a really good season, and he
yeah,
barely played any games.
yeah. I mean, I can't argue with that. You made some valid points. It's going to be a tough one.
Okay.
It's a tough one.
So staying, I guess, on in the subject of free agency, there's a lot of talk in Pittsburgh with Crosby, Malkin, and Letang, and what do they do going forward? They have to be re-signed. So there's a lot of rumors saying that Letang is going to take a really small contract because he doesn't want to leave. He wants to retire there. Um,
Good on him.
but I think if your core is these three guys, not that they're bad, but they're aged and they're not as good as they used to be. Crosby aside, maybe.
Ooh,
But
Crosby had a pretty good year.
but having them locked up and costing a majority of your salary cap without having people you could put around them really is like it's strange to me because like I think they have to sign Rust as well, or maybe they just signed Rust. I don't remember. I don't recall, but that's not what this is about. Do you think that Pittsburgh is a legitimate threat still going forward, or does signing all three of these guys hurt the rest of their future?
It's been like this for the last maybe 5 years, of them just picking up depth players around Letang. Malkin and Crosby. I see this going on for another couple of years, just for the fact that Brian Burke wants to keep things going. I don't think he wants to make any big changes. But if there was ever a person that wanted to make big changes, that would be Brian Burke. I think it's still a little too early to rebuild a team. I think Malkin and Crosby, especially Crosby, still have a lot of years left. I'm looking at Crosby's contract. It's still good until 24, 25.
Yeah.
Malkin, yes, you are right. Malkin is up. He's a UFA. They gotta sign 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 players. Wow.
They're in a bit of a pickle too, because then once they get through this wave of signing, I believe either the next year or the year after, all of their goalies need to be re-signed.
You're right.
So that's what I was saying. That's my point. Like, and Malkin is not going to sign a team-friendly contract. He believes he still has it, and any other team in the league will be willing to throw $10 million at Malkin. So, Pittsburgh's going to pay for him. Hopefully, they can save money on Letang, but I mean, I think as long as you have Crosby, I think that's what really matters.
Yeah, Malkin's is like 35 years old. He's still got a couple of years left.
Yeah, I believe him and Crosby are the same age, or he's a year older, maybe.
I think there's Malkin is a year older.
Yeah,
Malkin
is Ovechkin's age, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I think they still got a couple of years left. They're in a bit of a bind.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few teams in this awkward situation. It's funny because we were talking about it today, and we were like, when you look at the Leafs roster and some of the other teams in the league that are in cap pickled situations, situations, it's like, and then you look at the Islanders, and like, yes, they're a good team, and yes, they made it to the semifinals 2 years in a row, and I'm not saying bad things about them, but when you look at their roster on paper, how the hell are they in cap trouble? There's no like superstar player on that entire team. Barzal may be excluded, but somehow they're in cap trouble.
I don't know, man. I mean, like, if you're going to sign everybody for $5 million each, like, that's going to like mess you up. This cap, I think every single general manager of every team in the NHL was really looking forward to the cap going up substantially in the last couple of years. Before the pandemic happened, and then they came out to saying that the cap is not going up anymore, and it kind of just messed everyone up.
Well, I think it really affects it. We'll move on after this because we're stuck on cap. I mean, you're not a bad guy, but so
been told.
If the cap, like, what is it? Do you know? Is it like 84? Well, you figure it out.
I believe it's about $85 million.
Okay. I say, in my opinion, like, just make it like 92. Put it up $7 million. Put it at 92 for now, and then you can work out the kinks later. Yes, it's going to cause some teams to get top heavy, and the lower tier teams are going to suffer maybe a little bit of. But I think the general, what it's going to do for the league is it's going to help, because there's a lot of players now that their careers are like vanishing. So guys who came off like 2 or 3 good years and then had a bad year and then didn't get re-signed, nobody wants to pay the money for them now because they're 33, 34 years old. And do I really want to lock up my cap in that? But I think if you expanded it, there's a lot of good players that just aren't getting chances to play because of the cap.
Yeah, sorry, correction. This past year was 81.5.
81. Make it 90 million.
Yeah, next year is going up to 82.5.
Make it 90 million and keep your mark. Listen, it sounds selfish, but you want your New Yorks and your Torontos and your Chicagos and your Montreals to bring in your money, because that's where your money is. Why wouldn't you want them to keep the great teams that they have? Oh, 1 second. Keep going.
Sure. I mean,
go.
This league and this, I mean, the last couple of years, like, a lot of teams have been going into cap trouble, and it's going to be difficult to sustain that for the next couple of years. like you said, the cap needs to go up at least another couple mil, just to give a lot of these teams cap relief. So you know, a lot of these teams are just going to have to deal with it for the next little while. But you know, kind of like what Tampa's been doing, you know, a lot of these teams have found ways to circumvent the salary cap. You know what I mean? Putting people on LTIRs and you know, doing some crazy stuff like that.
If it works.
If it works, but you know, it's a hard thing to figure out, man. It's a really hard thing to figure out. I don't know. Shall we move on?
Yes. Let's get into the playoffs here because this will lead into the question I had before.
Yep.
But so in general, Tampa Bay won. Okay, so everybody knows 4-0 wins. They swept Florida Panthers. I honestly don't think anybody expected it. I don't even think Tampa Bay fans expected that. Yeah, that blew my mind. Like I had Florida to win. I think I said in 7, and you said Tampa in 7. But like I don't even think you expected them to sweep Florida. And
No, I didn't.
Sorry,
no,
go.
no, I did not expect to sweep at all, man. You're absolutely right.
The first 2 games were really good games. I was like, this is the best series so far. This is going to be amazing. And then the next 2 games, Tampa Bay absolutely demolished them. And like, I don't know. I don't want to stick on that series too much, but good for Tampa. Florida, you need to figure it out. They didn't seem too down on it. I mean, they still seem pretty happy, but we did see a lot of reports saying that they were out partying the night before that last game and all kinds of things. And it's like they've never been this far since the first year. What was it? Since that year with Colorado, it was like 95, 96.
But because of that happening, it shows that they lack discipline, and you know, they did not have the goal of winning a championship on their minds when they were out partying the night before. Now, this is allegedly, like,
yes,
the coach is
speculation.
denying it. It's all speculation. So, what do you do at this point? I mean, at the beginning of the season, they started out with Joe Quenneville. Is it because of the fact that they lacked Joe Quenneville's experience and focus going into the playoffs? Did it make that much of a difference? Because it looked like they were doing very well during the season. I mean, what do you do at this point?
To me, I think
it's embarrassing. It is.
You have a few little situations that you can correct, I think. But for the most part, I think you got to keep this team the same. They all seem pretty happy with Brunette as the coach, and I don't know. That is what it is. But that leads into my question I want to ask. Should Vasilevsky win the cup this year with Tampa Bay? Which makes it should, if he should.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Is he arguably one of the greatest goalies to ever play hockey? Because his numbers already say that, but 3 cups back to back to back is like unheard of in the modern era of hockey.
It's really hard to label someone as one of the best goalies of all time without them retiring or finishing the career. Because, you know, I mean, he still has a lot of hockey left. I mean, he's only 27 years old, and he still has a lot of hockey left. I mean, when I'm looking at some of the greatest goalies of all time, you know, Patrick Roy, Martin Brodeur, they're like the only 2 goalies that have more than 100 wins in the postseason. And, you know, you got Patrick Roy at 151 and Martin Brodeur at 113. Vasilevsky only has 57. And he's 17th on the all-time list. So he has a long way to go. However, when you look at how many games those 3 have played, you have games played at 247 for Patrick Roy and 205 for Martin Brodeur. Andre Vasilevsky only played 92 with 57 wins. So, I mean, you know, that's amazing for what he's done at only 27. He still has a lot of hockey left. I don't know. That's a hard thing to answer at this point in time because he's still young and still has a long ways to go.
Okay, that's fair. So we'll move on from
What
that.
do you think? Well, no, what do you think?
What do I think? I think
Yeah,
he's
man.
already if he stopped playing today, he would be one of those players where someone reads through the list of best goalies of all time by wins and then goes, yeah, but what about Vasilevsky? He never got to finish his career. He would have easily been there. He's already in that conversation, I think, of that guy. Because in the amount of games he has played to how many wins-loss ratio he has, he's already better than Waugh and Brodeur. If not for years played, for games played. By this point in their career, he's equally as good of them, if not better, in the amount of games played. Playoffs is a different story, but they were both on really good teams too. So he's on a good team as well, Vasilevsky. Don't get me wrong, but
I just ready to buy the playoff picture and
but playoffs for a goalie is not always the best look. But I do agree with you still because I'm not willing to say he's the greatest goalie of all time. But I think if he just stopped playing if they win this year, if he's just stopped playing, you would be like, well, the guy won 3 cups in a row. What could he have done? Anyways, let's continue. So another series that really has me thrown off here is Edmonton and Calgary. I didn't even expect Edmonton to win a game. I'm pretty sure when we talked about it. And Connor McDavid is just absolutely ridiculous.
You're the amount of points he has right now. I've saw it somewhere where they said that the amount of points he's putting up has not been seen since Mario Lemieux in the early 90s. The guy stepped up his game to a point where there is no question he is the best player in the NHL right now.
I never had that doubt to begin with, but
it's crazy.
To me,
dude, Draisaitl's got 22 points, 3 behind McDavid, and he's playing injured. You know what I mean? Like that team is killing it right now. Vander Kane, he's got 12 goals right now, leading the whole league.
I think though, if you had Evander Kane and Draisaitl doing exactly what they were doing now, but you just remove McDavid out of that equation, Edmonton didn't even make it to this round.
Well, the last 2 games against LA, McDavid literally put the team on his back and carried them to the second round.
I still think he's doing that now because Kane's points are coming all directly from McDavid, most of them.
Yeah.
So like that, it's funny because I was talking to a mutual friend of ours that's an Edmonton fan, and he said the same thing. Evander Kane's having a great year, but without Connor McDavid, he doesn't put up numbers like that. And
I can't argue with that, man. He's at another level, and
it's Gretzky-esque.
You want to talk about going down as one of the greatest? Like he keeps doing stuff.
He's already in that category.
He's already in that category.
He's already in that category. I agree. I'm very surprised by it. I'm not going to give a lot of credit here because I still believe in that he's a bag full of trash, but Mike Smith played really good in the last game. But I don't want to give their goaltending too much credit because Edmonton probably has the worst goaltending of all the teams in the playoffs, even from the last round.
Fuck it, I will. Good on Mike Smith. 40 years old, and he's doing what he's doing right now. It is awesome to see, with the exception of that 50-foot goal that he let in last night.
Oh, in the first 2 games, he didn't look very good.
No, I mean he didn't, but he's stepped it up since.
Like we said this, I believe before. It might have been you and me talking, but him and Koskinen are both such streaky goalies. They might be good for 2 games, but then they'll absolutely disappear for 2 games. And I don't blame Mike Smith for that because he's old for a goalie in the NHL.
Yeah, but I mean, it kind of puts the doubters to rest. You know that he's able to maintain or sustain this kind of play, and if he could carry it on, into the next round, if they do make it to the next round, because they're only one game away now. Shit, man. I mean, this is good on him, man. Good on him. He can retire saying that he's done something really, really special if they can make it really, really far.
There's a game on right now, which I don't normally like to do it, but it's the end of the second and Colorado's winning 3-1. So it looks like there's a good chance that series ending tonight. So we'll talk about that series right now. Colorado has outplayed the Blues left, right, center, except for that one game.
Mm-hmm.
And Colorado looks really good. I think for the last 2 years of me and you saying Colorado this, Colorado that, and then neither one of those years them doing anything, this year they look super strong. And if Kadri keeps on going like that.
I mean, yeah, I don't really have much to say. Like, on the fact that this is what we were expecting to happen.
Mm-hmm. That's
in the last couple of years, because we felt that Colorado has the ability to win the cup. I mean, maybe luck had it wasn't on their side for the last couple of years, but it looks like this year they're able to go really, really far, and it'll be interesting to see who they face in the next round. And it'll be really interesting if Edmonton beats Calgary and they face against Colorado. That will be one.
That will be good. If I can watch
interesting series,
I promise you, I will absolutely be glued to a screen that has McKinnon versus McDavid and Rantanen versus Draisaitl. I'm there.
Yeah, because like you're going like the next, like if they face each other in the next series, I think it won't be Connor McDavid or Kane or McKinnon, or it won't be any of the forwards of the D. It'll be interesting to see which goalie
gives up first.
Gives like
which goalie falls apart first.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see which goalie just falls apart, because Kemper and obviously Mike Smith are.
Frank Hughes is a really good backup though.
Yeah,
and cool. It's you know what, for all the quality that he's shown and the skill level, it's really weird that when Kemper had his little moments that they didn't let Frank Hughes play, because he's like their thing. They really like him down in Colorado, and I just find that strange that they don't really they never went to him. They never leaned on him for anything. But yeah, if you're Edmonton, you don't want to end up with Koskinen in net. And you just need Mike Smith to stay hot. But yeah, I would love to see that. I'll give you that. But Colorado versus Calgary would be a great series too.
Yeah, Colorado's doing something really, really special. I mean, this is like to see, like seeing Kadri playing very, very well and not get suspended is, really cool. I know, I guess I could bring it up now, like the fact that Bennington has been injured and he's no longer able to play for the rest of the series is a huge opportunity for Colorado to take advantage of it, and it looks like they may be able to put it away. I mean, I don't know if you want me to go in depth.
If you want to, go ahead.
It's not warranted for a suspension. It was more of a collision, accidental collision.
It definitely looked accidental.
Yeah, and I don't think Bennington losing his temper and trying to go after Kadri, totally unnecessary. I mean, I don't think it was intentional at all. And Bennington needs to chill.
Like without making it, how I get, but like he did some really trash things in this series so far, Bennington, to the other team. And I want some accountability for goalies, in the sense that, yeah, sure, someone takes a run at you, you fight back, but like Binnington is like a really super dirty player that's doing things behind this shield of like, I'm a goalie and they can't do anything about it. And anytime you fight back against the goalie, you're going to fight the whole other team, unless it's the Leafs, because then they're going to just go to get off the ice. But I just think I want some more accountability for goalies. When you're always coming at the Bergerons and Tom Wilsons of the world, you got to come at the Binningtons too, who are just hacking at people and swinging your stick at people's faces. Like, come on, it's just too much.
Well, Right on.
Okay, so last series, New York versus Carolina. This has actually been a really good series. I expected Carolina just to walk away with it.
Yeah, I thought so too. But then, there are some players that stepping up. I mean,
I mean, New
um,
York is good.
New York's good, man.
Andrew Kopp is like I don't know. He did not do this on Winnipeg. I don't know where this is coming from.
Yeah, and then you got Fox, who's stepping it up, and then uh, what's the guy's name?
Panarin,
Zibanejad.
Zibanejad, yeah,
Yeah,
Zibanejad's been really good.
he's leading the team in points right now. So I mean, unlikely players just stepping up their game, and that just goes. That just goes to show that if you want to take it to the next round, if you want to get to the next round, you got to get your depth players to show up and do their thing. And it looks like the Rangers' depth players are
Yeah,
showing up
and the
and making
Rangers
it
are
hard.
Gorgiev and Shesterkin. Well, I don't think Shesterkin played any games, but they're playing really good in net.
Shesterkin
And
is playing all the games.
oh, sorry, I got it backwards. Yeah,
Yeah,
but they both had a great end to the season. They're both doing amazing right now, and I think this is good. This might be the thing that I said would happen unless they get Anderson back. The Carolina Hurricanes' future is very up in the air. Ranta has played well for them, but it's not the same as having Anderson.
it's not. And with what's going on, I mean, Shesterkin is living up to um, his nominee for MVP. He's making a really good argument. Good on him, man. I mean, but you like you said, in order for Carolina to pull through, they really need Anderson back.
Especially in that last game. The last game, it's the only one I watched all the way through of this
Did
series.
you?
But yeah, the Rangers really took it to them. Carolina barely had any chances.
Carolina was up 2-0. I
I
mean,
know,
Rangers
but it's
came
like
back 2-2. So
once it got to that point, it was just like Rangers. But hey, that's a good. You know what? I'm happy they've all been good series so far, minus Florida versus Tampa Bay, which started out decent and just kind of collapsed.
it gives Tampa now well needed. Like it just
Everything is in their
it's in
favor.
their favor, man. Like
It's
I
like
said it from
it's I
before.
know it's so strange because my dad was talking about that the other night that it's like it's almost like as if it's been planned by the NHL to like keep this team as the best team. Like every single possible little thing has been in Tampa Bay's favor.
I think it was Stamkos that did a post-game interview saying, now we got a chance to rest up. We got a bunch of guys that are banged up, bruised up. Now they can rest up for a little while before the next round starts. Good opportunity for Brendan Point to rest up and try and see if he can come
Yeah,
back.
and
They
you
didn't
want to
have
know
Brendan Point.
I know, and the crazy part of this is too the way that Rangers Carolina series is. It's going to go 7 games, so Tampa Bay's going to get another like 7 days of rest on top from today. Isn't that crazy? Because Colorado and Edmonton are. It's like Colorado's already going to end it tonight, most likely, and then if Edmonton keeps going at that pace, they have one more. It's 3-2, right?
Edmonton,
3-1.
Calgary?
It's 3-1.
It's 3-1.
Yeah, Edmonton's pro. You know what? The way the games look, Calgary does not look very good.
No, it totally different team that
Mhm.
was facing Dallas last round. Like
Yeah,
I don't know
but that Dallas series
which
was a
team.
tough series, and I think they took a beating from it. And
Yeah, I know you're absolutely right, but it's just like it's as though they don't know how to battle anymore. Like they're still showing up, but they're not putting in a full 60 minutes. Sounds familiar?
hey, I don't want to talk about Canadian teams that don't put in a full 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's all I have. Do you have anything else?
It's so funny. I know we don't want to talk about Leafs, but I gotta bring this up anyway because like someone sent me this article. So obviously, William Nylander is playing in the International League, and everybody's talking about how he's been playing. He's playing so well, and he's actually like pushing people around, using a lot of physical plays, body checking people. And I'm sorry, I just have to laugh because a lot of those players are like so much smaller than him, and it's like,
well, maybe
everybody needs to
he
chill.
realized he's tired of hearing it, and so he's like, "Now I'm going to start now. Today is when I start to prove myself."
Yeah, well, I just want to leave it at this. You're fucking late.
So I just want to leave it like this. No matter what Cap says about you, you're the best player on the Leafs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all do. It's Austin Matthews. Okay, anyways, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and let us know how you feel about this round so far. Peace out.